To take you back to 2018 for a second. So I talked about at the time that a person, a member of the public, just randomly went up to the office, literally just drove through the gates of the office. The gates were open and wide open. There was no guard on the gate or anything like that. I was at the office once before. Usually there's two guards or one guard on the gate. But there was no guard on this day that the person went up to the office. You might be wondering, why did she go up to the office in her car and just drive through the gates? She didn't break the gates or anything like that. She just drive through the gates. And went up to see the person park the car, went up to the person, Michael D. Higgins. And nobody confronted her, nobody stopped her, nobody was there to stop her. And she just went into his office because his office, the front of the office, the main porch of the office, his office is in there, for what I remember when I was in the office. But yeah, she just waltzed into his office and nobody said boo to her. And literally, there's nobody there to stop her. For getting to the president. And obviously she was trespassing the next one and said, and obviously he rang the guards and had her taken away. But she wasn't prosecuted or anything, which I think was the right thing because she was just there too. I think she probably was angry at something because she gave them a quite do and she gave them a lot of she probably gave them a good town off. That's what they used. Now she didn't physically hurt him or anything like that. But she gave him a good town off. But yeah, you might be wondering why I'm talking about this. The guard that was supposed to be on the gate, but he was away doing something, fixing or something on the other side of the office. He was how do you put it? He was reprimanded. Reprimanded is the word for neglect of service or being that kind of thing. I suppose. Not performing his duties. I suppose that's the word you could use too. And obviously he faced probably a fine or whatever. He'd probably be kicked out of the guard. But again, I don't think it's his fault because there's only one guard, and that's the question you need to ask yourself. Again, he can't be 100 places at once, one guard. But again, there's the second thing too. When the American Civil War, you probably remember Abraham Lincoln. If you look it up, Abraham Lincoln barely. Back then there was no such thing as you think about the United States president now. There's so many bodyguards and everything. The Secret Service protecting police, snipers, everything like that. There's back then in the 1860s, during the Civil War, there was nobody protecting the president. There might have been one guard, that'd be standing outside the White House or whatever. But the White House, members of the public could just waltz in to the White House, and talk and interact with the president. In other words, during wartime, and go and talk to the president. And again, that's what a good democracy is, that you can access. As Abraham Lincoln once said, if a person wants to speak to me, they're going to speak to me. Again, they're going to find a way of speaking to me. There's no way of preventing them from speaking to you. And it's the same as he said, if somebody wants to kill me, they're going to kill me. If fate has its way, if God has its way, God will decide. There's nothing more. There's nothing anybody can do to stop it if somebody's going to kill me. And he had the same thing about the members of the public coming in and talking to him and asking them questions. Again, that's what should be happening here in Ireland, in my opinion. Michael Higgins should allow members of the public, homeless people, to come and, if so, give him a good lecture on how he's failing the country, or even just talk to them just to say hello, even if they have small children, to bring them in to say hello to the president. Again, that's a really good precedent if you allow members of the public in to talk to you. There's no point paying a huge sum of money to the president if he doesn't do anything for the public. And again, that would be thing, but obviously it would have to be queue and everything, and obviously maybe have appointments or whatever, and with the president can go in at a certain time or whatever. Not all what's in the woods. But again, that's back in the 1860s. They had no guards or anything. That there was probably one guard maybe standing outside the White House. But you could just waltz into the president. You could shot him. You could have done anything. And nobody was. And again, as Abraham Lincoln said, if they want to talk to you, they're not gonna. Nobody's. Again. Then they're not going to, in other words, I'm like Joe Biden here now, they're not going to get, if they want to get to you, they're going to get to you, in other words, and if anybody wants to talk to you, they're going to get to you. So, that's some fact you probably didn't know, but again, this is the thing, I think it's a bit harsh now, but again, she didn't do any harm, she might have trespassed, that's the only harm, but whatever she said to Michael Higgins or whatever, as president, he should be able to take it, as simple as that. It could have been about anything. I would say she was very upset about something. And again, I'm sure she has every right to go and talk. If she pays her taxes, she has every right to go up and tell the president what she thinks about him or about the country, about anything. Again, he is a public servant. He's he's being paid by the taxpayer. And again, she didn't do any harm. In my opinion, she didn't do any harm. It was White, not the prosecutor. But the guard too, it wasn't his fault. It's just one of those things that you couldn't predict, you couldn't think about. But yeah, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think and bye.